Hi, this is Sidra, and you're watching me on your YouTube channel Trends 21 by Sidra. Thanks for subscriptions and thank you for sharing my videos with your friends, and thanks to make me a good human every day, a developed teacher, a polished brain, because when we are attached to the knowledge, our knowledge increases every day. Again with another story, an interesting story. I am here and I'm just suggesting you to talk to yourself, to speak English in front of the mirror and when you are alone, and try to make your circles. Because whole the life, if a person is practicing very good but in a dark room, that doesn't mean that he is really doing what he has to. So you will also have to gather the people to create the chances of speaking English, to make friends like who are also intended to learn English language, means who also wish to be fluent like you. Now let's move towards today's lesson. Its name is Strong Together. Try to grab the pronunciation, and if you are failed, don't give up. Just try again and again. Once there was a farm very close to a forest. The farmer had a small house in the middle of his land. Why? You may ask. Why didn't he live near to the road or to the forest? Well, it was because there was no road to his farm. And the forest frightened him, definitely. The farmer tried to build a wall around the field, but there were not enough stones on the ground. He tried to build a fence. Fence is always put somewhere where we are supposed to stop someone to come. It's made up of iron and it is very sharp. If somebody touches it, he or she or any animal could be hurt by it. That's why people usually set a fence around the houses or somewhere. So the farmer also tried to put a fence around it, but he had very little money and little time to go about building fences, because it is a time-consuming job. The farmer had 4 strong oxen. When I say oxen, it means it is the plural. One is ox, and more than one means 2 or more than 2 are oxen. They helped him on his farm, means oxen helped him. 2 of them plowed the land. Plowed means it is a term used. People who live in the villages definitely have seen this, but the people like me who have just seen it in the books, you have seen there is a bullocks together and they just walk into the mud, into the soil, so that they can make it fertile. I actually have not seen it in reality, so I just have read about it, that it is used to fertile the land, to put the seeds under the land and to make it fertile, for the cause of irrigation. 2 of them plowed the land and pulled his cart. Means 2 of the oxen were used to smoothen the land and to pull the cart of the farmer. He used the other 2 to draw water from the well. There was an open well on the farm. The oxen went up and down the slope all day, drawing water from it. Means drawing water from the well. When the oxen went not working, the farmer let them out in the field next to the forest. It was their fun time. The 4 oxen were close friends. They always grazed together and returned together to their shed at night. They stayed well away from the broken wall and the dark forest. There were many wild animals in the forest. These animals liked nothing better than a tasty meal. The oxen knew this, so they looked after each other. Means they were aware of the enemies from the forest, that they can have them as their meal. So the oxen were curious about the arrival of any harmful animal into their dens. Whenever there was a danger, the oxen came together. They linked their horns and stood in a line. Horns means the 2 horns. Some people spell them horns, it is wrong. Any wild animal seeing them like this thought it was not wise to go near. One day, a hungry jackal came up to the broken wall. He climbed over the stones. He entered the field and ran after one of the oxen. Means he was trying to part one of the oxen. Means if one is getting separated from the others, it would be an easy prey. Prey means a victim. The other oxen immediately ran to the side of their friend. They linked their horns together and stood firm. Means they just tried to follow the whole formula which they already decided to save themselves. The jackal walked up and down for a while and then turned to the forest. Means the jackal was failed in his planning. He would have to look for his dinner somewhere else. Means the oxen were unavailable. Life went on as usual at the farm. The oxen worked hard and then grazed in the field. A week after, means after 1 week, the jackal visited the field. A lion came that way, means a lion was also hunting to grab one of the oxen. He too tried to go close to an ox, but the oxen stood firm. You see, whenever they are talking about the hunting, they just say ox, means they need one ox, not the oxen, because oxen is related to the strength and one ox is having no strength if it is alone. This time the danger was greater because it was lion, it was not jackal. The oxen lowered their heads, kicked the ground and bellowed loudly, means they just yelled, they screamed as a cow and a bull does to show their strength to the lion. The lion was frightened and stayed at a distance. After some time, the lion crept away and sat behind the wall. He was not failed, he was just keeping on. The lion was very hungry. His stomach rumbled. Rumbled means like this. He sat and licked his paws. What a tasty meal those oxen will make. Means he was just imagining that if he grabs any of them, what a tasty meal it would be. Thought the lion, I wish there was only one ox in the field, not the 4. You see, he's just yearning to get them separated. Just then the jackal came to see if he could have better luck than the last time. Again means jackal is again on the track to retry. But the oxen were still standing together in the field. The lion and the jackal began to talk. What are you here for? Asked the lion. The same thing as you, means the jackal replied, I am here for the same thing for which you are here. Replied the jackal. The jackal and the lion thought of a clever plan, means they have made a plan now. Just see what is it. The next day the jackal sat behind the wall, waiting for the first ox to enter the field. When the ox arrived, the jackal sang. The ox in the field is fooled by his brothers. The farmer gives him less than he gives the others. Means he is singing a song to make that single ox that his brothers are served more than him. Means the farmer is not serving them equally. He's just putting a filth in the brain of one ox. I hope you are understanding. The next day the lion sat behind the wall. When the first ox came into the forest, the lion began to sing. It's all work and no play for one ox on the farm. Means he's just telling him that it's just you who is paying the cost. The others are just taking rest. He doesn't know that the others mean him some harm. Means the other oxen are just trying to use you. He's just putting a filth in the brain of this ox, and he just wants to make him realize that he only is paying the cost and he only is struggling in the field. Rest of them are just taking rest and having fun together. Being humans, we all have experienced such situations when being two strong friends, we see that someone else, means a third one, an intruder, tries to come inside, and he often succeeds to do that because of his firmity and because of the continuous strokes that he hits on the brain of those two strong people, and they get separated finally. It happens every day. The jackal and the lion took it in turns to come, means they just decided to alternate the days, and they just made their turns to sing those filthy songs for the ox, means one single ox. Every day the jackal and the lion took it in turns to come and sing behind the wall. Very bad. They began to tell lots of the stories. Soon the oxen started listening to the stories. And then they began to give each other angry looks. Means finally the lion and jackal were succeeded, and they penetrated the bad material for each other into the brains of oxen, and the oxen started delivering bad words to each other, bad looks, harsh looks to each other. They began to quarrel with each other, means they started fighting with each other. Until one fine day, the four oxen stood well apart when they grazed in the field, means they were not standing together, they were standing apart to each other, separated to each other. Now was the time for the jackal and the lion to act, means this was in fact the target which was achieved by lion and the jackal. First the jackal entered the field and killed one of the oxen. The other oxen stood and watched. The following day it was the lion's turn. He came into the field and ate one of the oxen, means two were killed. Oh, the others stood by and watched. In the days that followed, it is sad but true that the other two oxen also fell to the ground. The story is gone. It is finished now. This story is taught at every level. I think that at school level, this is commonly discussed by the teachers, that there is a strength in the union. When we are together, we are succeeded. When we are together, we are strengthened. I am not going to ask any question at the end of the lesson. I'm just delivering one message for you, that we have commonly seen these things. I personally have passed through this, that an intruder can ruin your life. Once he enters, and rest of the life changes. Usually we see and stand at the side of the victim, but I personally want to see the story from the other side also. Because the victim was definitely the oxen, but the triumph was of the lion and the jackal. So we should think about themselves also, because they were not having their food. They needed to get food by hook or crook. So they made a plan and they were succeeded. We should not focus on this side that it was a misery for the oxen. No, we should see the other side also, that it was the trick, it was the cunning gesture, it was the cunning nature of the lion and the jackal who were succeeded. In fact, it should be highlighted that lion and jackal were succeeded, and we should be aware of the tactful behavior of these creatures. Means some humans we have also seen that they become succeeded to part to people, to scatter the families. I personally have passed through the same situation. So be aware that these type of jackals and lions are also staying in humans, and sure about them that they will definitely be succeeded if you and I give them a chance. Stay together and stay positive. Thank you so much. Goodbye.